Hi everyone and welcome to the second episode of the Vancouver Mulligan. And as promised, we're here in front of the Magic Stronghold here in Vancouver, BC, and we are about to play my favorite Magic format, Legacy. We're here on a Thursday night around 6:30, I think, and we are about to start. So come on in and check it out.
The group of people here is great, and especially the regulars. I've been playing here for quite some time now, the old store even, and it's always been a lot of the same faces, but they're always great people. It's great to hang out with, and it's great seeing the play group growing here especially. My name's Doug. I grew up just outside of Toronto, but now I live in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. I started in the third grade a very long time ago. Ice Age was out. And then I stopped, like many people do, for a very long time, and I picked it back up again in about Odyssey, 2006 maybe, and played right up until Kamigawa, stopped yet again, and then picked it back up in 2012, whatever set that was, and I just went straight into Legacy at that point.
My name's Brendan McBain, and I'm from somewhere close around here, from the Sunshine Coast, which is fairly local, but a ferry ride away though. And I started right around Exodus. Like right before Urza Saga and all that stuff. My brother and I had bought a booster pack or two of Homelands. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah. And we were interested in it, and then we sought out a friend of ours, and they showed us how to play and everything.
Legacy by far. The meta seems much more diverse, and it lets you pick a pet deck and just kind of roll with it. So regardless of how silly it is, you can still win games with Pox. You can still win games with Siege Rhino, even though other people are playing cards that seem more powerful. There's just so much more you can do with it and still be competitive in other formats, I found.
Since I've played for a long time, I've played all of the formats essentially. Right now, I definitely like Legacy, but I used to play Standard competitively. I've played Extended. I haven't really played Modern. I used to play Vintage. I used to have Power, all of it.
Legacy is much more interactive, and I think that, again, going back, that's why I like it so much, because there's just a lot more to do, and it benefits to learn your deck so much more than other formats, and it utilizes the stack significantly more than any other format I can think of, except maybe Vintage. The interaction is what I really like about Legacy.
I think for an adult, a working adult who's older and everything, I think it makes the most sense. You get a lot of stack interaction. The games are really intricate.
Yeah.
You get to play with some sweet cards, and when life gets busy for a while, you come back. It's changed, but it hasn't changed a lot. The average player, I'd say, is either a Standard, a Modern, or a Limited player, as well as an EDH or Commander player. And then you obviously have a smaller subset who play Legacy or Vintage and stuff like that, or Commander. If you're playing Modern especially, if you think, if you're a Modern player and you don't like Standard because it rotates all the time and all this, I would just say, well, you just need to play Legacy, and then you'll realize that it's better. But it's just such a rich format. every format has a little bit of its issues, but Legacy is very healthy. Some people don't like miracles, but it's fine.
Nickfit is super fun because you get to play Siege Rhinos. Siege Rhino is the best creature in Magic. And I see a lot of people playing Ghost Quarter lands today, so I thought I'd bring something with many basics just to get around that. And that led me into Nickfit. Basic lands, Cabal Therapy, always fun.
My initial conditions when I was picking a deck was like, it has to have 4 Chalice, and it has to have 4 Blood Moon. Like, that's what I was looking at. And essentially at that time it was like Dragon Stompy, that was the only thing. And it's kind of like, that's not exactly what I want to be playing. So I started looking at either just 4 Chalice or 4 Blood Moons, and then at that time, a guy named Jonathan Suarez top aided an STG with Imperial Painter, like a mono red build. And I looked at it, I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that. And so I just started picking up all the cards over like maybe the next 2 months. I've played Imperial Painter for the last like 4 years or something, with a few other little decks here and there, but pretty much Painter is what I play.
I would unban Mind Twist. Because Mind Twist, there's no reason for it to be banned whatsoever. Hymn to Turak is just almost strictly better. And someone in the comments can tell me why I'm wrong in that. But for the most part, Hymn to Turak is better. And Mind Twist just doesn't generate value at that point. For the most part, I think it's in a good state. Everyone will talk about Top or Terminus, but I don't really think they need banning, especially with the newer decks that are coming in. Eldrazi specifically is really keeping Miracles in check. So I think it's in a pretty good place right now.
Like, I think it's a very healthy format. I would probably unban Survival, and I think it would get a lot of older players who played Legacy like pre-2012 or something back in. It's like there's a lot of stuff that like shuts off the graveyard component, because one of the main ones was like a Vengevine deck where it would just kind of run you over.
Okay.
Like, obviously there's other builds and stuff, but I think it's pretty interesting. I don't think I'd really ban anything. I'd more look to like unban stuff. Mystical Tutor is a little bit too ridiculous. Same with Flash and that kind of stuff. So I'd probably start there, and then like if you wanted to get really interesting, maybe something like Oath of Druids or something like that. But that would probably be a little bit too broken.
Legacy is a format where once you find the deck you like, you can slowly build it over time, because the cards aren't going to go anywhere. We're not going to see the dual lands get banned. So regardless of your budget, there's options even. Pox is a relatively low deck. Modern decks can be converted over to Legacy very easily. There's a guy who's playing Twin, and he's been playing it to success as far as I've known here. And it's been good seeing stuff like that.
I played Standard with Knight of the Reliquary when I started, back around M10. And then Knight rotated, and then I played Knight in Legacy. This deck's really good against Delver. You get to play with creatures. Your deck's also not like a bunch of air. You're not just like cantripping into cantrips. You're actually playing like a bunch of cool creatures. Deathlight Shaman's one of the best creatures you could be playing in this format. Like, this is like a pile of really strong Magic cards. You're not going to be caught off guard a lot, except for those turn 1 combo decks, because you have like Zeniths for Pride Mages, or Teagues, or like your Graveyard Hate. If you like wastelanding people, this is one of the stronger wasteland decks. You play a lot more threats than a Delver deck too. If you like casting like 3 mana 9/9s that wastelock your opponent, then that's cool too.
That's a big for you.
You're a really good wasteland deck. Wasteland is good when you have mana dorks, so you get to stay ahead on mana after wastelanding them. Thalia and Knight of the Reliquary also make wasteland really strong. Knight's like the biggest castable creature in Legacy. Like, you cast a Knight, and then like a lot of decks are just like walled off on the ground. People think like the deck might be inconsistent because you don't brainstorm, but actually Green Sun Zenith adds like a lot of consistency. Like, it's like glue that like holds your deck together. And like you can see in Elves too. Like, Elves doesn't need brainstorm because they have Green Sun Zenith. It's playable every single turn. Turn 0, it's a mana dork. Turn 2, it's a better mana dork in Deathlight Shaman. Deathlight Shaman's busted. Gives the main deck like Graveyard Hate, which this deck really needs. Turn 2, it's like a Teague or a Scrib Ranger or an Ooze or a Pride Mage. or not turn 2, turn 3, sorry. And then turn 2 with a mana deck. And then turn 4, it's a knight. So like every step of the curve, it's playable. It's a finisher, it's utility, it's a mana dork. Like the card's really insane. Best card in the deck, by far, Zenith. You know, it's all about that fantasy of like playing a creature, shooting up equipment to it, and then it's fair. So there's the mana dorks, there's the Deathrite Shamans, and the Nobark. And then you have Mother of Runes. This card's like really annoying. That's what people tell me. Like they hate seeing Mother of Runes. It's like you have to kill it right away, else they just don't kill your creatures again. Pride Mage is sick. It's like it's main deckable artifact enchantment hate. It's a 2/2 with Exalted, which is I love it. Scourge Ranger is actually like sick, mostly because it has like flying. It's your only flyer in the deck, and against like Death and Taxes, where like the ground is blocked from like stupid mobs and crap, you just get to like fly over. I know they play flyers too, but Scourge Ranger also lets you do like double mom. Scourge Ranger and Knight lets you like wasteland them and still attack with your Knight, or double wasteland them if you're dirty. Yeah, Godike Teague. I know. I hate Miracles. I hate Storm. The Ant builds right now, if you play a Godike Teague on turn 2, they actually just concede. Scavenging Ooze is really strong. I kind of want to play a second one, either in the sideboard or in the main deck. It's really good against like lands or decks playing creatures. A lot of the formats playing Deathrite Shaman, it like destroys Deathrite Shaman too. Oh, neither okay. It's like my favorite card in all of Magic. I love this card. Like it's like a 3-mana 8/8 that wastelands your opponent. This deck doesn't actually have a lot of ways to get card advantage, so Stoneforge Mystic is really good with that. Equipment's like insane. Death and Taxes, the way you win is the first one to get equipment hit, like a JT hit in first wins, and you're favored to get the JT hit in first, because you have more ways to like deal with their equipment. Like you have Pride Mages, I have Abrupt Decays. Not a lot of people main deck Abrupt Decays. Sylvan Library, it's a good card, good card. Sometimes play 2. I don't feel like playing 2 right now. I feel like playing the Abrupt Decays. As Swords to Plowshares, I think it's, you know, standard. It's like one of the... I'd say it's like the second best removal card in the format. I mean, Terminus is...
I cast that Terminus. Terminus.
It's like 1 mana instant speed Wrath of God that doesn't even trigger death ability, so that's cool, I guess. I mostly run this card for protection from white text. The recur a creature actually doesn't happen that much. Yeah, there's 2 more Teagues. A lot of people play just 1 more Teague. There's a lot of like Storm here and Miracles, and Teague's like really good. 2 Canonists for Storm. There's a couple like Omniscience players here. That card's good against them too. I usually play like just the 2 Persecutions. I added in the Deluge because it's better against Eldrazi obviously than Persecution. And then these are for like Swarm decks mostly, like Elves, Death and Taxes. Yeah, another Abrupt Decay. Against Miracles, you bring out your Plows, and I want another way to kill Monastery Mentor. 3 Thoughtseize, 3 Surgical. Thoughtseize is for like the combo decks. So is Surgical. I bring in Surgical against the combo decks. I don't have much of a board against lands, that's why I have the 3rd Surgical. Delver's really good matchup. You have like a bunch of mana dorks, and they're like a mana denial deck, and you have dorks, you have 4 basic lands. So it's really hard to like deny you a mana, and you're also playing that mana denial. And a lot of the deck is like air, like it's a lot of cantrips, they don't have a lot of threats, and you could kill a lot of the threats really easily. And if you resolve a Knight, they can't kill it a lot of the times, unless they have like Dismember early, or if you play it as a 3/3 and they bolt it, but that's not gonna happen. Mother of Runes is really good in that matchup too. And then Miracles is I think a bad matchup. I'll bring in like the Sword, the Teagues, the Decay, and maybe the Surgicals, depends how they feel. I really like Surgicaling their Plow in that matchup. It lets your Teague like live a lot longer. Another bad matchup though is like turn 1 combo decks. So like you literally can't do anything against them game 1. If they kill you turn 1, you literally, like, you don't play Force of Will. You also have a bad burn matchup, especially if they play a lot of Searing Blaze effects. Obviously, Thalia Jite are really good. If you don't get your Jite fast, it's really, like...
Thank you very much.
No problem.